Hey guys, just want to give a little update on this trip to Papua New Guinea that has gone so well. One really unique part about this specific trip is bringing Sean, my brother-in-law, who grew up at this very center here in Papua New Guinea. And so having him along, he's a youth pastor, and he understands the MKs that are here on center front and back because he did this life and he understands what they've walked through. So such a cool thing. So the first thing is we came into Port Moresby, which is the capital. Down in kind of the southern coast, southeastern coast, and Bree's parents are actually still there. They are the guest house managers as well as the government reps for the entire organization here for Papua New Guinea. So we got to go and visit with them, and Sean got to see their house that they now live in there, because when he left they were still living in Lapilo, which is up in the highlands of Papua New Guinea, kind of a plane ride out from the capital. So we got to see all the things that Donnell and Steve have done while they've lived there for a big chunk of maybe 6 to 7 years, somewhere in that, before they had lived here in Lapilo. And then together, all 4 of us got to fly out to Goroka up in the highlands together, and it was just such a fun experience. Goroka here in the highlands is actually the headquarters basically for the entire field. We have a lot of families that work with Ethnos360 and New Tribes Mission here in country. There's 850 unique languages here, so there's a lot of work going on. So we're just walking around, and Sean is just giddy. He's
lots of memories.
Grew up here at Numenoi at Lapilo, and so he's taking me to all the trees he would climb and fruit he would steal and rope bridges he made. Pretty awesome, pretty awesome. It's fun watching him grab stuff and just be like, oh my gosh.
It's been a while.
This is fun. He hasn't been back in 10 years.
Yeah.
Since he's been back. So I haven't introduced you. This is Sean. This is Bree's little brother. He's not little, he's much taller, but it's been a joy getting to be here with him.
See that? There you go. Just like the old days.
Oh my gosh, it's just as good. Literally all over this place, he's got a story for it. And on top of that, in classroom, every bit of the content, he was able to relate it to his story growing up here. So it was just so unique and fun to see that and experience that with Sean. So this center serves as kind of a base for all the tribal missionaries that live out in the bush locations and in the tribes. So here we have teachers, we have pilots, we have medical, doctors, we have people that are like leadership over the field, we've guest house, all kinds of things that operate out of this center. It's a great place to grow up for sure. Sean and Bree both grew up here and enjoyed their time. Sean actually got to teach here at church, and so what a cool experience, because Donnell and Steve are actually here at Lapilo for a couple days because they're doing a farewell. Donnell and Steve are retiring from this field just coming up in April, so they'll be heading back to the US permanently. And so the field was doing a little goodbye for them, and Sean got to be a part of it, and Sean got to also do the sermon for that Sunday service. So it's just a cool experience. So the big reason why we're here is actually to work with all of the high school and junior high kids that live on center. Their parents are either here working in a support role or out in the tribe. And so our goal has been to help a transition focused week to help them think about re-entry and moving back permanently and back and forth in their home assignment years to the US. And our theme this year was Keep Exploring. It was kind of this hiking adventure theme, and we hit all kinds of topics, such as not going it alone. We need our community that God had designed us for. We talked about the MK and the third culture kids, and kind of just put everyone up on the same playing field of understanding what that looks like and the definitions of that. We talked about life transitions. We talked about grief and loss. We talked about trauma and processing those things in our life. With any good transition still comes loss and grief. That's a natural part of that experience, and so helping them process that instead of stuffing it down. They've just become something different, and that's okay. Not that I argue this is a very, very good experience. And we'll get into some of the ways that also work. We also want to give you guys the hope. We also talked about spiritual growth in the midst of transition, what that looks like, why it's important. We talked about church and why God created that in the first place. As they look to go to the Western world, to America or Britain or Australia, as they graduate high school, they're gonna be looking for churches, and how do they do that, and when it's very different from what they grew up with. And then we actually got to take the juniors and seniors out on a Saturday to a hotel downtown, and we got to spend the whole day with them doing fun games and activities. But also some other big content things like anxiety and stress and depression, and those things that are common to not just their experience but anyone their age right now. And so we talked through some of that. We talked about perfectionism, which is something that a lot of MKs experience in this dynamic, and we talked about going forward and what does that look like and when it feels impossible. So we had a lot of good time together with the students, and we're really grateful for how God worked. In addition, we got to work with parents. We met lunch and dinner and even some other opportunities to work with different individual families, working through their unique challenges. And then we also had 2 parent meetings where the parents came together, and we got to work with them and share some of our content and get them talking about what they want to see and their concerns with member care. So really good trip. We're really glad that coronavirus didn't stop it from happening. So we're grateful for that. Thank you for your prayers and for your support that allows us to be here to do this. So thank you very much. We love you guys so much, and we hope you guys are doing well.